Teams who will overachieve and fall short of their expectation. Let's start with the ACC, and we'll go with the fall short category. Florida State. Florida State was on top of the conference last year, went undefeated in the conference championship. They had a hell of a run. I think they're going to see a little bit of a drop off here. They just lost too much talent. They lost too many good dudes. They lost 10 dudes to the draft, including playmakers like Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, Jared Verse, and Trey Benson. Like, these dudes were integral to the Florida State success in their season last year, and they are going to be really, really hard guys to replace. On the defensive line, you have Pat Payton and Marvin Jones Jr. They're probably the best edge duo in the conference. You can make the case that maybe the best in the country. So they're going to be set on the defensive line. They also have Josh Farmer coming back. So on their D line, they're actually going to be pretty good, maybe even improved, even with the loss of Jared Verse. And in the secondary, if you get a healthy Fentrell Cypress, we know he can play too. Like, he's been an All-American before. If he can get back to that level and you add Earl Little, I think the secondary should be solid, although I don't think that they're going to be elite. Now, if you flip it over to the offensive side of the ball, like, you got DJ back there, and I know he's pretty much a stopgap for this year and for Gronkmeyer for next year, but let's face it, you can win 10 games with him, but he's not going to set the world on fire. And without those elite weapons that they had last year, I don't know that they're going to be able to do that. Norvell has proven to be an excellent talent evaluator, especially within the portal. So they'll need these guys to pop and hit like they did last year if they're going to want to replicate their success. So, I think their expectations are be conference champs, win the ACC, and get a college football playoff berth. Now, they have Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, and Florida. Like that, those are hard games that they're going to have on their schedule. That's 4 tough games that they'll have on their schedule. So I think they're just going to fall a little bit short of what their goals are in terms of being conference champions and potentially getting a college football playoff berth. I don't think they'll make the conference title game, and I think it might be a long shot that they make the college football playoff. So I think they're going to fall a little short. Now let's flip it to who's going to be overachieving. NC State. Now, their over-under win total is 8.5. So, let's say that their expectations are, lofty for them to win 10 games, which they haven't done in the Dave Doran era, and a conference championship game appearance. Now, those are high goals for NC State, but I think those are, achievable goals for them. So they return arguably the best receiver in the conference with Kevin Concepcion, sophomore, and they're adding in Noah Rogers and Takari Collins, 2 guys who were at Ohio State and Clemson respectively, who didn't get a ton of burn and did not really reach their full potential. Who knows? Maybe they'll reach their potential with Grayson McCall, the transfer from Coastal Carolina. Like, we've seen Grayson McCall at his best. If we get the best of Grayson McCall for this team with those guys at receiver, I think they're going to be pretty good offensively. On top of that, they returned 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen. So I think this year offense might be the identity of this team, which is very different for a Dave Doran team. Defense will look new, especially without Peyton Wilson, who was just an absolute freak on the field last year and was pretty much the anchor of their defense. But you know what? I trust Dave Doran and Tony Gibson to put together a strong product defensively on the field. And they have an extremely favorable schedule. Like, their non-con is Western Carolina, Louisiana Tech, and Northern Illinois. So, those are very, very winnable games. And on top of that, they have a pretty favorable ACC schedule. They have no Florida State. They have no Miami. They have no Louisville. I think this could be a 10-2 team at the end of the season, and I think they have a real shot to make the ACC championship game, potentially win it. I think that's a little bit more of a long shot, but they're going to be in the mix for the ACC championship game and a berth in the college football playoff.